Okay, two more situations when we use down phrasal verbs. We also use them for things which depress or upset or reject us or others. So if you put someone down, you criticize them. It's like run someone down. You're criticizing them if you're putting someone down. Of course, if you put something down, it just means put something on the table, maybe put it down. So it's the movement phrasal verb then. But put someone down can mean criticize them, like run someone down. If somebody brings you down, they depress you. They make you feel depressed. They get you down. And get someone down is the same. It means you depress them. If you say, I don't like that guy, he always gets me down, he always brings me down. These two can be synonyms. Okay? Now, this is very common. Let someone down. So maybe my friend arranged to meet me at 5 o'clock, but he let me down. He didn't arrive. Okay? He didn't turn up. He didn't arrive. So he let me down. So again, it's kind of, he upset me, he didn't arrive on time, so it's negative, like these three: depress, upset or reject. Now, if you turn someone down, then you reject them. Maybe they came for a job interview, but you turned them down. You decided that they weren't good enough for the job, so you turned them down. But maybe, somebody makes you an offer. Maybe somebody invites you to their wedding and you turn them down. It means you reject their invitation. It's quite polite. It's fine to use this word. It's not slang or anything. And I want to point out that these both have second meanings related to movement. If you let down someone's tyres, tyres are the rubber parts on the wheels of a car or a bicycle. If you let down their tyres, you reduce the air inside. So it's about reducing. Point number 2. You reduce the air inside when you let their tyres down. And you can also turn down the TV or turn down the music, and you're reducing the volume. So both of these have other meanings as well, connected to reduce. I think these probably do as well, if I think about it. Well, put down is movement. Bring something down, if you bring your shopping down from the top floor. So you can use it as movement as well. So many phrasal verbs have multiple meanings, and that's what makes them difficult. Okay, if you look down on someone, you disrespect them. Maybe for some kind of reason. So you could say, I look down on him because he's unemployed, or I look down on him because he's lazy, or whatever it is. But maybe you look up to someone. Then if you look up to someone, you respect them, you admire them. Okay? Breakdown. When people break down, they become depressed. Maybe it's a midlife crisis, maybe somebody has a nervous breakdown, and it means they become really, really depressed and unable to function as a normal person. Okay, so remember these negative kind of depressing meanings, and also remember restrictions. We use down when we talk about restrictions. So when the local council shut a business down, or the police close down a nightclub, you could say close down as well. When this happens, a restriction is being put in place. The business is not allowed to operate as normal. You could also have, and we very often see this in the newspapers, the government are clamping down on drugs. The government are cracking down on, it could be underage drinking. The government are coming down hard on, homeless people in the cities, whatever it could be. But it means they're restricting with the force of the law. So if the government decide to clamp down on drugs, it means they're going to introduce more laws, more restrictions, in order to make it difficult for people involved in that business. But it doesn't have to be that. They could be cracking down on knives. I think maybe a few years ago, the police cracked down on knives. They wanted young people to have less knives. Okay, if you pin someone down, you're restricting their movement. Now, you could say that this is movement because you pin someone down on the floor, usually. But when you pin down, you restrict their movement so they can't move. You hold them down. You're restricting them. Okay? So, when the police make an arrest, they may pin down the suspect. They may hold down the suspect. But first of all, they have to find the suspect. And so they have to track down the suspect. They have to hunt down the suspect. Yeah? Both of these basically mean look for and find. Track someone down, it means look for them and find them. Hunt someone down, look for them and find them. And I've put it in restrict because you restrict the number of places they could be in. You track them down to one particular point. So I think of it as a restriction in some way. I hope you can understand my logic. The police have to narrow down the list of suspects. So to narrow something down, this could be reduce. It's to reduce the number of suspects on the list. So they narrow down their list of suspects, and then they track down their prime suspect, the number one suspect, and then when they've tracked him down, maybe they pin him down, and maybe they send him down, or the judge send him down for a number of years. Because send someone down basically means put them in prison. If somebody goes down for 5 years, then they're sent to prison for 5 years. So it's also a restriction. It's also from the down phrasal verbs. Now, I wanted to mention a few other phrasal verbs. I wanted to mention the fact that write down is obviously a phrasal verb. And when you write something down, you put it down. You get it down. We can say, I put it down in my notebook. It means write it down. I got it down in my student book. It would mean write it down. So they're worth remembering. And lastly, come down to, put down to. Now, you could say, I'm feeling sick at the moment and I put this down to the weather. It means I think this is because of the weather. Yeah? So when we're talking about causes, reasons, we use these two expressions. Put down to means that you think the reason is. You think this is because of. Let me give you a different example. I think there is high inflation at the moment, and I put this down to our government's financial policies. Yeah, I think the reason for the high inflation is the government's financial policies. But I could use this one, come down to, and we normally use this not with a person, but with it. It comes down to. And it means it is because of, again. Yeah, it means it is because of. So let me think of a different example. Well, maybe, again, I could say something like, so there is a lot of unemployment at the moment, and it comes down to the government policies, blah, blah, blah. It is because of, it comes down to. So please remember these two about causes. You will see them. Thank you for watching the lesson. Please subscribe and like if you'd like to see some more. And yeah, I hope to see you all soon.